Right now, an overnight crash in Verona takes the lives of multiple people, what authorities have shared so far. Also, Wisconsin senatorial candidates are working hard on getting those undecided voters ahead of Election Day. We take you to both of their rallies. And we're following the Badgers game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Could the Fickle-led squad get it done in Iowa City? Andrew Banster brings us the highlights. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A single vehicle crash late Friday night takes the lives of 5 people. According to the Dane County Sheriff's Office, the incident happened just after 11 p.m. on Range Trail, just north of Sunset Drive in Verona. The vehicle was traveling northbound on Range Trail when it left the roadway and struck a tree. The impact caused the vehicle to become engulfed in flames. Multiple first responders arrived on the scene but were unable to save any of the occupants. The cause of the crash is currently under investigation by the Sheriff's Office. A man is arrested early Saturday morning following an attempted traffic stop that turned into a vehicle pursuit. According to the Monona Police Department, an officer saw a vehicle with a shattered rear window and expired registration operating within the city limits around 2:45 Saturday morning. As the officer attempted a traffic stop, as the car exited onto Highway 51 heading north, police say the suspect took off, prompting a vehicle pursuit. The suspect eventually lost control of the vehicle, crashing into a fire hydrant. The suspect then exited the car and led officers on a brief foot chase before being apprehended. The suspect was taken into the Dane County Jail, where he was booked on a parole violation. MOPD recommends charges for felony attempted eluding, resisting arrest, and possession of cocaine. One person is critically injured and 3 in all are without a home following an overnight apartment building fire on Madison's east side. According to the Madison Fire Department, they were dispatched to the 4900 block of Camden Road late Friday night following reports of a fire in a 4-unit apartment building. MFD says firefighters encountered flames and thick black smoke in one of the upstairs units. During their efforts, firefighters located the person trapped inside the fire-impacted unit. They rescued the person and transported them to a local hospital. That person is currently in critical condition. 2 other occupants were displaced by the fire. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington, who is joining us for tonight. Alex, how does it feel out there?
Feeling great. And actually, Jalen, I came out the patio door here and I saw the strangest thing that I've seen out here on the patio, that we have a red bird feeder back here, and there was a cardinal out here eating, probably because of the bright lights, but also that cardinal's probably thinking, eat now or I'm going to be eating in the rain the next couple of days. Let's see if there's any rain out there right now with our storm tracker. Nothing in Dane County, but we'll take a trip to the west, Grant County, over towards Prairie du Chien, Platteville, right up along the Mississippi River. Looking at a couple of raindrops already, widening things out. Let's look at future track, slowly bringing those showers into southwestern Wisconsin, west of Madison, west of the Dells for the most part as we go into the early morning hours on Sunday. Showers, a couple of isolated thunderstorms are going to be moving across southern Wisconsin throughout the day on Sunday, and that's day 1 of 3 days of rain coming up in Maine weather. We're going to track all of that rain, and there's that cardinal again behind me. All that rain is going to amount to some pretty hefty amounts of water. How much? I'll let you know coming up.
All right, Alex, we'll see you in just a few. Wisconsin football traveled down to Iowa City for their first of 3 rivalry games on the schedule. Andrew, they said this one is special, right?
Yeah, Jalen, it is. It's the only one of those 3 rivalry games that Wisconsin did not win last year, and they notice its absence every day in their trophy case. But sadly for the Badgers, they're going to have to keep on waiting, because in this one, it was all Iowa. As we try to get to the highlights here, Caleb Johnson and the Iowa Hawkeyes, it was all them all game. He had 3 touchdowns in this one as the Badgers fall 42-10. The final score. It's 3 straight losses in this series, and the Bowl will stay in Iowa City, Jalen, yet one more year. Coming up in sports, we'll break down the entire highlights and talk about what this means for this Badger team going forward.
All right, Andrew, looking forward to that. The candidates focus largely on North Carolina Saturday, with the countdown on Election Day now just over 2 days away. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides is in Atlanta, where Harris is leading one of several rallies.
We win this state, we're going to win the whole ball game, you know.
Both former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris rallied in North Carolina Saturday, which Democrats have not won since 2008, but it's been a close call ever since.
It is about the importance of lifting people up and not trying to tear them down.
I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of massive numbers of criminals that have come into our country.
Polls are tight in most swing states that could sway Tuesday's election, including Georgia.
Already voted. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
Hopefully they both have good intentions of bringing the country together. I think that should be one of the main things in keeping America first.
This Atlanta rally is one of 3 the vice president is holding across battleground states.
And Georgia, we have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump.
As the race for the White House enters its final hours, Harris is expected to make multiple appearances in Michigan Sunday, while Trump is set to campaign once again in Pennsylvania. Considered the top price of the 7 battleground states, Harris will be there on Monday. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Atlanta.
A source familiar with Harris's plan says she will appear on Saturday Night Live tonight after arriving in New York earlier in the evening. And those candidates continue to make last pushes to Wisconsin voters. Just down the road in Milwaukee, both former President Trump and Vice President Harris campaigned just a few miles apart from one another. Now, this further emphasizes the importance our state will play in Tuesday's election. Friday's rallies between the two could mark the last time both of the candidates make cases for Wisconsin voters in person. Fiserv Forum is where former President Trump held his Friday. That rally is the same place where the former president accepted the Republican Party's nomination for president. Tonight's that rally, the former president spoke about the economy and tariffs, the border, and his claims that black and brown people continue to lose jobs to migrants, and continued his attacks on Vice President Harris's mental acuity and physical fitness. Here he is in the rally from Friday.
This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure, or whether we'll begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. They're going to be the 4 greatest years.
And just down the road, Vice President Harris also making a late push to Wisconsin voters. Harris, again, just a few miles apart from former President Trump's rally, had another star-studded event with appearances from several stars, including Cardi B, Keegan-Michael Key, Glorilla, and others. The Vice President telling supporters in West Dallas that Trump is bad for the economy, their health, and women's reproductive rights, as well as taking aim at Project 2025.
It's either going to be him there on day 1, walking into that office, stewing over his enemies list, or when I am elected, walking in on your behalf with my to-do list. And I'm a hard worker.
A recent Marquette Law School poll shows among likely voters, Vice President Harris leads former President Trump 50-49. And among the flurry of visits, former President Barack Obama will also be making a stop in Milwaukee. WISC-Dems announced the former president will speak at the Baird Center Sunday, with doors opening at 11 a.m. Obama came on late to the campaign trail for the Harris-Walz campaign, with several stops in key battleground states, serving as a surrogate at rallies and on multiple podcasts. And with just a handful of days to the election, the senatorial candidates are continuing to battle over Wisconsin. Our Ellie La Liberté shows us how both are trying to win over voters in the last minute.
From Iowa County to Walworth County.
We have a very tight, we're a battleground state. We have a very tight race at the top for the president. And this Senate race is tight, too.
Both Senate candidates are looking to get out the vote just days before November 5th.
And just get out there, work hard. I feel the momentum. I think things are really going well and heading in our direction.
Trying to reach every last voter.
It's really always been important to me to get all around the state to meet voters where they're at.
There's not one part of the state that I'm not working hard to gain their votes.
A recent Marquette Law School poll showing incumbent Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin with a narrow edge over her Republican challenger, Eric Hovde.
We know that that's going to be what this race in Wisconsin comes down to, is turnout.
Both Baldwin and Hovde supporters are aware of the pull smaller communities can have.
The message isn't always clear in some of these smaller communities. And the smaller communities are the ones that are getting so much mismessaging that they really need the clarity of having somebody come face to face.
I think it's important that the candidates come and speak to us locally. It's great to hear more of their side instead of all the negative ads on TV.
Both campaigns hoping these voters will swing their way come Election Day. Reporting in Iowa and Walworth County, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
During COVID, Joan Ballwig took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Ballwig, out for herself, not you.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Groppe, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Groppe want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Groppe get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
When did you know Eric Hovde was wrong for Wisconsin?
Well, that's easy. When he said that people like me were going to die soon, so we shouldn't be able to vote.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
When Hovde said overweight people should pay more for health care.
When I heard he wants to raise the retirement age.
When I heard he's completely against abortion.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. He's not for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Ballwig invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Ballwig, out for herself, not you.
Election 2024 reaches the finish line, and News 3 Now is your local source on election night. Our team brings you continuous coverage Tuesday on WISC-TV, Television Wisconsin, channel3000.com, and channel 3000 Plus.
Let's get a look at your First One forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Sounds like a good idea. Let's track some rain here. First, we'll start off with Storm Tracker. Nothing in Dane County right now, but you don't have to go too far to the west. Right along the river here, Boscopel over to Prairie du Chien, we already have some raindrops filling into Grant County, and those raindrops are going to be plentiful. We have 3 days of rain ahead of us, Sunday, Monday, And right now, actually, latest indications, which I'm going to show you here in Future Track, we could be looking at rain lasting longer into Election Day Tuesday than earlier thought. Here's the showers, 6 o'clock, but largely west of Madison over southwestern Wisconsin. But as we evolve throughout the day on Sunday, widespread showers, a couple of thunderstorms as well. Strong southeast breezes out ahead of a warm front that will move through Sunday night. 6 o'clock Sunday night, still widespread showers and thunderstorms. On and off breaks, but overall, what you're going to see here is the continuation of periods of showers. 6 o'clock Monday morning, scattered showers, maybe a clap of thunder. The warm front will have lifted through by then, and I'll show you how warm we're going to get on Monday in just a moment. More scattered showers Monday, 6 o'clock. More showers and a couple of thunderstorms Monday night across the area. Fairly widespread, really, over all of southern Wisconsin. 6 a.m. Election Day morning, showers and isolated thunderstorms. Madison and points to south and east, maybe a little bit more isolated to the north and west, but that fills in again, and we see more scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day on Tuesday. And this is the latest update with one of our weather models, and I was just looking at some of the evening models coming in now, and it does look like perhaps we'll keep an eye on this. Definitely tune in tomorrow and for sure on Monday that we could be looking at rain perhaps sticking around longer into Election Day Tuesday than what we had been earlier thinking these past couple of days. I'm just going to do one look here on Sunday just to show you. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, our wind gusts are going to be between 30, 35, 40 miles per hour. So get used to breezy conditions as well, and mild temperatures as well, too. 2 to 3 inches of rain, not going to be shocked to see an isolated little bit more amount of rain with this 3-day event of water. So widespread 1, 2 to 3 inches of rain the next couple of days. Now, what about the temperatures? 45 for a low tonight, a little bit warmer off towards the south and west. That's where the warm air is going to be coming in from. High temperatures on Sunday. Remember, normal highs are 52. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow, but this will be early in the day. Temperatures are slowly going to be rising throughout the day. We'll probably see this 56-degree high temperature in Madison closer to midnight, and then by the time you wake up Monday morning, temperatures are going to be in the 60s, climbing almost all the way up to 70 degrees, especially if we can get some breaks or some brief periods where we don't have as much widespread shower and storm activity. Look at the low temperature Monday night. Only 59 degrees, and we're going to warm up into the 60s again on Tuesday. May have to add a thunderbolt symbol on Tuesday as well if that weather system ends up sticking around a little bit longer as it looks like now. Then we've got Wednesday and Thursday. Those are temperatures a little bit closer to normal. Low 50s are our normal highs. Then we've got this other wet weather system Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This weather system also could bring some decent amount of rainfall to the area. Windy conditions and temperatures not quite as mild with that weather system. So we're turning from that dry pattern that we've had for 2 months. We had heavy rain the other day. Now we're going to have heavy rain for 3 days, a break, and then more rain across southern Wisconsin, which is not uncommon for this time of year in fall to get a more active weather pattern going.
This is my favorite time of the year. I wish my birthday month, which is October, would have been a little bit more fall-like in this matter, but I'll take it now, especially for our farmers and our environment who definitely needs the moisture.
Yeah, we need to get moisture back in the ground again, especially this winter before we get into the next planting season.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Alex. Coming up in sports, Andrew's in studio with the highlights from a Big Ten matchup next in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
During COVID, Joan Balwig took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Balwig, out for herself, not you.
Tammy Baldwin has our back. Tammy broke the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel.
Thanks to Tammy Baldwin, my daughter's inhaler is now only $35 a month.
Tammy's Dairy Business Innovation Act has helped us hire more workers.
Tammy Baldwin's leading the charge to restore Roe v. Wade.
Tammy Baldwin fought like hell to save my retirement.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To have someone in Washington that's got your back, oh man, that's gold.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity,
In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is Home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When I was 27, I was diagnosed with MS. That's life-altering news. I had to prioritize my health and start taking medication. Back then, these cost $6,000 a year. Now the generics cost 5 times that. Senator Baldwin claims she's fighting to lower drug prices, but she's taking millions from Big Pharma and works for them. I'm not taking their money. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'll fight the corruption and lower drug prices because I've lived it.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg, out for herself, not you.
Wisconsin heads down to Iowa City for a pivotal physical matchup with the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Badgers have a chance to become bowl eligible with a win heading into their bye with a win this week, but this one was all Hawkeyes as we get down to the highlights nearly the whole way through this one. Less than 5 minutes left in the third. And I guess we're just going to talk about it. Brendan Sullivan, the quarterback for Iowa, was terrific. They were up 28-3, scored again, ends up going on to win 42-10, the final score. It's the third time in a row that Wisconsin has lost to Iowa, which will keep the bowl in Iowa City for the third straight season. That's a new record for the Hawks. Elsewhere on the football field, Whitewater got back to their winning ways, and they needed to. Took down River Falls in a 13-7 finish. As for Platteville, they just keep pushing the chips to the center of the table. Another week, another win for the Pioneers. Despite playing one of the hardest schedules in the country, Wisconsin women's hockey can go into their bye week as a perfect 12-0 with a win today. They have 0 losses on the season, but do have 2 L's on their roster, Lacey and Layla, and they do help a lot. For instance, scoreless in the first, Layla Edwards tips in Lainey Potter's shot. What a play. Badgers on the board. Jumping ahead to the second, Wisconsin looking for their third goal. Layla Edwards and Caroline Harvey set it up. Lacey Eden finishes the job. It's another Wisconsin goal and another Wisconsin win. The Badgers take it 4-0. Speaking of big wins on the ice, the Wisconsin men with a potentially season-altering win. They come into this one 1-6 on the year, but beat number 19 Notre Dame at their place 2-1, the final score. To the pitch, high school boys soccer. Middleton playing Madison West for a trip to the state. tournament. How about this one? Tied at 1 apiece in the second half. Not any longer. Look at that goal. Brennan Maurer. You kidding me? He puts the free kick right into the net. The Cardinals take the lead and would win it in penalty kicks. They're headed back to state to try and defend their state title. Staying with soccer, forward Madison won their playoff game tonight, which is a first in franchise history. It was right over at Breeze Stevens Field. Forward Madison beat Charlotte FC in the quarterfinals 2-0. Staying local, going up to Wisconsin Rapids for it, though. The state cross-country championships. This is amazing. Deerfield Cambridge's Emerson Droback won the D2 girls state individual title with a WIA girls record time of 17 minutes, 38 seconds. And on the boys' side, Whitewater's Jack Hefty took home the D2 state individual title. He wins year-round, both in track and in cross-country. Unbelievable for him. And the Bucks finally looking to snap a 4-game losing skid against the undefeated Cavaliers. Down 1, 14 seconds to go, and that means it's Dame time. He rips a mid-range jumper. It's good. Bucks take a 1-point lead, but the Cavs came back. Donovan Mitchell makes it happen and keeps the Cavs undefeated. Milwaukee loses 114-113, the final score.
Yeah, Drew, I guess if you're going to drop a game, at least it's against a good team. But what are they, 1-5 now in the year?
1-5, yeah.
With a roster that has Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, it's not as if they're lacking pieces. So what do you think is going on?
I think it's unbelievable, and I think that you know, it's really hard to fathom when you have a guy like Giannis. If we can send a commercial break and maybe get to the highlights from the Badger game when we come back and talk a little bit more about that.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. We'll be back with more after this.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
4 years ago, we took a wrong turn and lost our purpose. We lost the strength that makes Americans who we are. If we dared to speak the truth, it was called hate speech, and our values were labeled shameful. That's when everything we care about fell apart. We surrendered our borders, our paychecks, and our courage. Our patriotism was called toxic. Men could beat up women and win medals, but there was no prize for the guy who got up every day to do his job. Now we're being asked to settle for the way things are. And we're wondering if America can make a comeback. We can, because we've done it before. When we get knocked down, we don't stay down, we get up again. We fight, we fight, we fight.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stile is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stile is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stile, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Upty, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now, weekend mornings, moving forward.
All right, Andrew, let's get to those highlights down in Iowa City.
Yeah, let's get to it. The battle for the bowl, Wisconsin trying to take down Iowa and the Hawkeyes. As you can see, the final score there did not go as Wisconsin wanted. 21-3 here late in the third, and Iowa extends it even more, make it 28-3. Wisconsin's offense would get going a little bit, get a long pass here to Vinny Anthony, and end up getting a touchdown pass from Braden Locke to C.J. Williams. But ultimately, this one, as Luke Fickell said in his post-game presser, is a nightmare that's kind of hard to even imagine. You see the Wisconsin touchdown here. But honestly, that's kind of the only way you can sum it up. 42-10 the final score. The Badgers with back-to-back brutal losses right after it looked like they had figured just about everything out.
Yeah, they played Penn State really tough last week, so it's a little shocking to go down to Iowa and lose by 32 points.
Unbelievable, and we'll certainly have a lot of sound on that tomorrow.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you so much, Andrew. A final check before we head on out.
All you need to know, 3 days of rain ahead of us, 1 to 3 inches of rain on the way.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Andrew. We'll see you back here tomorrow.